welcome to you, my viewers. This is the Marriage Corner Show with me, Vionah Githinji, and karibu sana. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you that you've been following us and that you took this time, honestly, to watch us. Asante sana. This is our 10th episode, and we are bringing you guests from Kikuyu, Kiambu County, and they're with me today, telling me about their love journey, how they met, and how life has been together, and their marriage, honestly, is working. I've listened to them. These guys, it's working. So they'll be sharing with us the tips, or whatever else the challenges may be that they choose to tell us about their marriage, their journey, their businesses, their love, their babies, and we're here to listen and learn and maybe get a challenge from them. So allow me to welcome them. They are Mr and Mrs Mucheru, and they'll be telling us more about themselves. Karibuni sana.
Asante sana.
Karibu to the show. It's an honor to have you guys. Please introduce yourselves and tell us your names, what you do for a living, and anything else you'd like us to know about you. Welcome.
Okay. So my name is Maurice Mucheru. I'm an architect. That's what I do during the day. I'm also a father and a husband, and I'm born again.
So, yeah. Karibu Maurice.
Thank you.
And my name is Cecily Murage, and I'm a lecturer.
Where?
At Masai Mara University. I'm also a landscape architect by profession, and a mother of 2. Yes.
Awesome. Karibuni. Karibu sis. Be comfortable, be easy, rest.
I'll try.
I hope you do faster.
Yes,
but it's going to be really easy. It's an easy show. So to start us off, I'll actually start with you, Cess. Where did you grow up? What was life like for you as a young girl? What were your dreams like? Whom did you grow up with? Tell us about yourself before you met this guy.
Okay. I'm a village girl. From Kirinyaga, a village called Murindoko. We have very funny names over there, but we love them. And I'm a second born in a family of 4. Both my parents were teachers, and right now they are retired teachers. My mom was a college teacher at Kigari Teachers College, and my dad was a principal at a local high school. My firstborn sister, she's only 2 years older than me. She's called Abby, and I have 2 boys behind me who are younger than me, Andrew and Alfred. Andrew actually is our neighbor. And like we had serious sibling rivalry, but right now we are like best of friends. Yeah, my dreams, I went to school in, I started my schooling in Kirinyaga, a primary school called Murindoko, very remote. Yeah, those days we didn't know anything about private schools or academies, as we call them nowadays. From the village, I went to a boarding school in class 5 in Embu now, a school called St. Ursula Govio. And when I went there, I was an average performer. I was an average performer and got myself into Kieni Girls High School. From there, I got some good grades. I really wanted to be an engineer, to be specific, a mechanical engineer, because I'm very technical. I really like working with my hands, creating things and joining things. So like when a radio broke down, I would find a way of fixing it back. And now, you know, when some of those things happened, my parents would say, "Hey, huyu atakwa engineer." So in your mind, you grow up like wanting to be that person who fixes like things. My grades didn't get me into engineering, so I had to revise the courses and take something that was close to what I really wanted to do. I wanted to do a technical course. I had qualified to do law, but well, I knew myself. Yeah, and I think the advantage of being raised by teachers, and they really guided us through career choice, and they taught us how to choose our, like, the subjects, yeah. So I got myself into landscape architecture. That's how I landed there. I didn't quite really know what the course was about. I actually thought it was architecture. But now when I went into campus, I got to love the course actually, because now it was almost a blend of what I wanted. It was a bit technical, yeah. So I just really blend to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I performed really well, because it was like something easy for me. I wouldn't say easy, but something I enjoyed doing, and something that was, like, I think in me. So it was really easy to blend in. I got a first class, yeah, for my undergraduate. Then I graduated in 2013, June. In the same year, September, I joined University of Nairobi and started my master's degree in urban and regional planning. So I did the course. In between, got married to my campus sweetheart. Got 2 babies in between. So by the time I was graduating with my master's, I had like 3 more degrees of a husband and 2 children. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I graduated and now landed my current job. But in between, I was working as a landscape architect with different private farms. I worked with a farm called Lariac and Urban Green. I still consult for Urban Green sometimes when they call me. Yeah, and now a lecturer. Yes.
Wow, that's eventful. I like that. You've moved from the village girl to now the city lecturer. Eh?
Well,
not thinking of where the university is, but all the same, you're still the lecturer. So big ups and thank you for that, Cecily. All right, Andy Morris, where did you grow up? Who did you grow up with? What were your dreams?
Well, my journey, let me say that. I was born in Nairobi. So the city boy, mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm that person. I grew up in Umoja. It was an interesting upbringing. I went to school at a place called Unity Primary School. Now the challenge with growing up in Eastlands at some point is you get both extremes. Mm-hmm. So there are kids who will really do well, and unfortunately there are kids who will not do very well. So even growing up, that was, in a sense, the norm. There were a lot of gangs, let me put it that way. And at some point, it was even hard to go to school alone because you'd meet people who are part of these gangs, and they would ask money from you. So it was a challenge growing up in a way, but it was also interesting in other ways. I think going to church, participating in church school activities was something that my parents really emphasized as I was growing up. Being the last born anyway, and my 2 brothers and sister were a bit older than me, so I had at least an opportunity to learn from them and also pick up a lot from just going to Sunday school and learning from them. In terms of my dreams, I wanted to be an astronaut. Believe it or not.
Okay.
The whole aspect of space travel and you know, getting on a rocket and going to the moon was really fascinating. And my brothers had a chart that gave a description of the different rockets that have been used to go to space. So that really made me grow that interest to the point where I was taking leftover toilet rolls, the tissue paper rolls, stacking them up, sticking them, and trying to make miniature rockets.
He binge watches YouTube videos of rockets being launched.
Yeah, it's still a craze I still have
With the
today.
sun?
Yeah, so we can sit and just watch
Space.
rockets, you know, planned rocket launches. It's interesting. I think it's just something I would honestly just do every day and get updates on, you know, which is the latest rocket that is about to be launched. There's a lot of there's a space race that's currently happening with the billionaires. So for me, it's something I would call a hobby. Whether I would want to continue in that dream, if there's someone watching and they would want to sponsor me for that opportunity, I would not say no. Please.
Who am I?
Who am I? Yeah, so in terms of dreams, that's how it went. So after high school, after primary school, I did okay. Got an opportunity to attend Moi Forces Academy, military school. My eldest brother was also in that school. So again, part of that influence, I really wanted to go to that school. So I managed to attend at least Form 1 to Form 4. It was again just an interesting phase in my life. I got involved in sports. My brother, the second born, was very much interested in rugby. So it's something I took up when I went to high school. Got a chance to play for the school. Something that I continued after school, but never really went that far because of now I was transitioning from high school to university. So if you look at practice and all that timing, they were a bit clashing with the desire or the dream to at least play rugby, professional rugby, professional rugby, let me call it that. So finished high school, got a good grade. I had applied for architecture. I remember there's someone I talked to, and when I told them what I got, I think they just told me, you know, they can't accept you with that. They require A material, not anything less. So at some point I was a bit discouraged, but by God's grace, I got accepted to Jomo Kenyatta. And that again was an interesting journey in of itself, from spending sleepless nights working, going 1 or 2 days without taking a shower, just in campus, not outside campus, just in campus, trying to finish assignments. It was just a different part of my life. I got into so part of the fellowship that I actually got born again in campus. That was, again, I think that was like the major change in my life. And I started, I think just the realization of who I am really weighed down on me, and also the friends that I had at that time. They were really going to fellowships. You know, the activities were more aligned towards what you would call Christianity. So I used to tag along just to, you know, enjoy their company. But I think it got to a point where the Lord really convicted me of, you know, the sin that I'm guilty of, and necessitating the need to change, repent, turn away from sin. And I think from that point on, going forward, you know, life really changed. I remember when I was in first year, a friend, one of the friends mentioned that, hey, Morris, wewe vile unaendelea, by fourth year utakuwa na mtoto, utakuwa umeanguka kwa mtaro juu ya kukunywa. As in, the projection was really not promising. And to date, I still remember those words. And again, I say it's by God's grace that, things changed, and I am here where I am. And we started going to fellowship. There's a fellowship called Night in JKUAT. So it's still there. It's still there. I got into the drama, let me call it the drama part of the fellowship. So we did a few plays, and it was encouraging just to see the Lord use plays to reach out to different people, tell them about the gospel, and even have part of the participants and actors who came in not born again actually become born again. So it was an experience that to date I still value. And so that's just part of the things I used to do. For when I met Cess, I remember it had gotten to a point where, I'm really not looking into it in terms of meeting anyone or trying to start anything. And I remember when I saw her, not saying love at first sight, but she really struck me the first time I saw her. And it's a relationship or a friendship I wanted to pursue actively. And the friend, my friend was a friend of hers as well. And she used to play the guitar. She still does, though she needs to polish a bit. But her guitar was missing one of the strings. So I offered to go and get her a string, just as a way to create the conversation. Eventually we started the conversation. I started making my intentions known to her, but every time I was trying to make my intentions clear, I could sense a bit of, let me say, repulsion. She was really not comfortable at that point. I remember there's a day I bought her flowers in campus, and so I called her friend. I told her, just tell her I'm waiting for her at the main entrance to their hostel. So she comes, she sees me with the bunch of flowers. She immediately runs. She just left me there.
Chic.
So, here I am just watching her run off, not into the sunset, but into the hostel. And I'm just here holding the flowers. So I called the friend. I told her, please make sure the flowers reach the owner. So at some point I was discouraged. I wanted to call it quits, and I'm really trying. How much can a guy try before giving up? So she eventually came around. We started at least building the relationship, more than friendship. We dated for 6 years, from 2009, and all the way we finished campus 2012, graduated in 2013. She got her first job during that period. So all this time we were building the relationship, building the friendship. Moments where she would get angry. Conflict resolution really doesn't start at the point where you get married.
True.
I remember there's a time when in campus,
we walked from the graduation
like
square
2 kilometers without talking to each other.
to where the cooperative bank ATM was. That's around 2 kilometers without saying a word, and nobody would notice that we were angry.
To the bank and from the bank.
Yeah.
At some point I was really puzzled. Do I talk? Do I not talk? What do I do? Am I the one on the wrong? You have like a million questions going through your mind, and it was interesting. I look at that day and just marvel at the fact that we were willing to walk, even in the midst of that chaos. She never told me to leave, and I was not willing to leave. But we just walked quietly without talking to each other. We went to the bank. She did whatever she was doing at the bank, and then we came back. Again, not even saying a word. So conflict resolution doesn't start. It doesn't start at the point where you say, I do. So all through 2014, I proposed. I always say I didn't go for the helicopter.
Okay.
But I got one of our friends and one of my friends to do let me say catch her unawares. So I proposed to her at around 5 a.m.
In the morning.
5 a.m. in the morning.
Why?
So her housemate, we planned it with her so that we'll be coming at around 4:30 in the morning. We do a bit of setup. Then after the setup, please ask her to come.
Are you still in college?
No, this is after now.
This is after.
This is now 2014. So we meet. So we do the setup. We come early. We do the setup. We do.
I was dead asleep. I couldn't hear.
She couldn't hear. She was really.
So my
dead asleep.
housemate actually put on some music. So I actually thought it's her maybe having her devotion or something. So I could hear some noise. Maybe was it the speaker?
Yes.
The TV.
Yes.
Yeah, the TV was on, but I didn't notice anything because I'm not a morning person. He can he can attest, and I'm very hard to surprise. So I think he really worked hard. He did his research well,
Yeah.
and surprised me very early in the morning. Yeah, with his friends.
So she said yes.
I want to know about this proposal. How do you propose at 5 a.m. actually? Take us through what happened. So you open your eyes and the first thing you see is him.
So it's my housemate came and woke me up from the bedroom. She's called Karen, a very good friend of mine. So I asked her, why are you waking me up? So the previous night, there was no water. That's the time the Southern Bypass was being constructed. And we had water problem where we were living. So I was asking, or it's the landlord who mwenye amekam kutusort maji tuchote, mapema, at least we'll have something to do our laundry with, something like that. They said, no, just come, there's someone who wants to see you. And I'm like, why are you waking me up? It's in the morning, it's on a Saturday. Was it on a Saturday?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to sleep in. There's nothing I'm doing today. So I said, no, just come, it's urgent, come. I'm like, what's wrong? As in, so I woke up in panic mode because now she's like, wake up, it's urgent. You need to go and see there's someone who's calling you. So I wake up, my hair is messy all over. I mean, not even, was it my trouser, pajamas?
At least there was no Ngombe t-shirt. I can confirm. No
And
Ngombe t-shirt.
It was a black sweater.
Yes.
And this baggy sleeping trousers. And my hair, it's all messy and natural. So I wake up, I go to the door. I didn't even notice what was in the sitting room because they had already set up some candles and breakfast. I love domas and ngwashe.
The village girl is alive and well.
So they were already set up on the table. So I asked my housemate, kwani hakuna stima? Why are the candles on? Because now I'm still booting, Kwa nini umewasha candles? Hakuna stima? No, you just go to the door. There's someone waiting for you. There's someone who wants to see you. So I walk slowly to the door. I open the door and surprise! All the friends come. I see flash camera flashes. I'm wondering what's on this. The first word is, oh my God, how do I look like? Let me go back and change. But I didn't even have time to change. Did I? No, I didn't have. So I saw More. When now I was welcoming them now to the sitting room to come and sit down. More comes with the ring. Did you go on one knee?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think he did. Then I told him, I haven't dated you for 6 years to say no. Yeah, because this was definitely headed somewhere, so it was just a formality. And we know where we're headed to, so it was as simple as that.
Yeah.
For you? For me?
Well, for you.
But I don't even know whether we have photos of that engagement, quote
We
unquote,
do
party.
somewhere.
They're there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'll have
With
to,
my messy
yeah.
hair.
Yes. Very messy hair.
And Bisha,
Oh, I'm only gonna.
It's the best time. It's the best time to act because they're still trying to collect their thoughts.
Oh Lord.
So surprise them and yeah. But it was an interesting time. Just getting to do that, and yeah, just move away from just the normal thing. Yeah. So I think in a nutshell, a lot has happened. So I can easily say that it has been a journey. It's still a journey. We now have, we got married in 2015. We now have 2 kids, and even how we got to that point, it's still a story in of itself. And we've seen God guide us, not just as husband and wife, but also as parents. I know at some point you get to a point where you're really asking yourself, why did we grow up so fast?
Adulting is hard.
Adulting is a challenge. Yeah, and yeah, our son, I remember talking to my son the other day, and he was telling me that how he wishes he can be a grown-up. And then I just told him, there's a time for that, and please enjoy the stage which you are in right now. Because a time shall come where you'll have to face really, as much as now we can, as adults, we can do, in a sense, whatever we want, but it has limits. And we still have greater responsibility at this stage. So enjoy. Right now, his biggest story is if Daddy will bring me a gift in the evening, or if we'll do movie night on Friday. I wish I could exchange some of these things with him, but yeah. So it's been an interesting journey all through, even right from 2015. In fact, before right from planning for the wedding, it had its fair share of challenges. We didn't have anything. We were on our first, second jobs. We are not making that much. Yet you have a budget of around 400 that you want to meet so that you can have the wedding. I remember the first wedding committee meeting we had. I think we were not that many, and we were already asking ourselves, we just go to the AG's office? We just do this?
Actually, we were to do our wedding on a Sunday afternoon after church, and whatever snacks people usually take, you say that ka snack, kachai people usually take after service. That would extend into our wedding, so people would have tea and mandazi zenye actually ni za church. Kudandia for our wedding. So I actually told my parents, and my mom actually told me, vile tu nilikwambia siku ya graduation, because it's, I think, the same thing with my graduation. Kaniambia, harusi si yako, harusi ni yetu. It's for us to celebrate, but marriage ndio yako. So you don't worry about the funds. We are the ones to fund. We will help you raise the funds. And actually they did that. So they did like what do they call? Shai. The tea parties. Yeah, they did. They gave us cash for food, to top up on different things. Also, Maurice side, the same case in the parents. They really came through. So we didn't even have to fund a lot. We only funded our own things, jewelry, gown, shoes. But rings. Now the ceremony, it's actually the parents who run the show. So yeah, that's one thing that, I don't know. You see, when you've reached that point of, I don't know how to do this, and we come together, I remember we prayed about it, and he was very optimistic. I think I'm the pessimist in this relationship. I was telling him Yeah, but we would see God coming through in ways that we couldn't like imagine, and reminding us that we are doing it right for Him. Yeah.
Because after 6 years, you'd have decided to just have a baby and have a life.
True.
As in, you know? Oh, but I appreciate that you still chose to do it right. At least right by you.
Yeah.
You know, it also gives you that sense.
Yes,
I did it right.
true.
Okay, before we go into it, I really want to know how your wedding was, the colors, the party. We'll talk about that. But before we get there, Maurice,
Yes.
what was it about this girl? For you as a second year in campus, your whole life is ahead of you. What did you see in this girl that you chose to approach her and pursue her?
I think character. I think the character was quite evident for me in terms of how she carried herself, how she used to do her stuff. That really stood out for me. It's someone that you can easily sit down with, plan for something, and in a sense see it through. Her desire to live a right life, or let me say, a life pursuing Christ-likeness, was also something that really caught my eye, in the sense that first of all, you're reading from the same script, and all your decisions, you're basing your decisions based on your belief. So you're not, that eventually kicks out some of the things that are not really necessary, insignificant, and not praiseworthy as well. So I think that, in a sense, even for the Christians dating, it really helps when you can base that, whatever decisions you're making, whatever direction you intend to go, based on God's word, so that you're not really aiming for things that the world is trying to say, this is how marriage ought to be like. It's, the guy needs to be, you need to be showered by flowers every other day. But even to get to a point where to understand, even love in itself is, we're not just saying it's a feeling only. What happens when you don't feel like staying with this person? I just look at, taking the example of Christ and how He loves us. He doesn't love us as a feeling. He demonstrates His love. He chooses us. So loving my wife then becomes choosing her every day, and not choosing anyone else. So that all my energies are directed towards loving. Ephesians 5:25, washing her with the word. It's not perfect, I can tell you for sure. When you have a million things you need to do, sometimes the busyness of life, yes, comes in. But when I saw that in her, then I was in a sense sure that my efforts in trying to pursue her will not go to waste. As much as I was left hanging dry sometime, with flowers in one hand, to the point where I was thinking of, really, am I sure this is the direction? It was still worth the wait and the pursuit, so that we are doing life together. We are walking down that path as husband and wife, and more so as best friends in this journey.
Nice. Yes. Really, you ran away. Why?
Nilimwambia pole.
What was it, Cec, for you that drove you to your heels?
By that time we were starting to become friends, and more than, I think, it seems as though he was preferring my company. When you're friends, you enjoy the company of everyone else, But now I started noticing that when we are coming from the guitar practices, he wants me to lag behind and probably talk to me, but I really wanted to avoid that. Because for me, I was this girl who was really focused. Wale madem nimekaa chuo kusoma. And I have no time for anything extra. Yeah. So that was the standpoint. And I think I also made it clear. So now when he came with the flowers, I was, okay, you've come with the flowers. Those flowers are not mine.
Interesting enough, she was very focused. Even after graduating, when she was pursuing her master's, it got to a point where she said, I will have to first of all finish my master's, then you can think about marriage. So she was by the book kind of person.
And here she is, look at your life. It's not that serious.
Well, but it helped in a way. So I left him with the flowers. Ajue kwenye atazipeleka, because now those ones they're not my flowers. I'm not yet your girlfriend. I'm only your friend. So he actually had to call my roommate, Faith. Ni Faith alizileta.
Yeah.
So Faith came with them, tukazitafutia some vase, and they stayed on our study table for so long without even withering. So they used to, Kathy and Faith used to enjoy me. Wakiniambia, unaangalia relationship yenu ndio hii hapa. Yeah, so after that, I don't know if I don't remember. It's not clear how did I handle that, because I don't even remember. But yeah, after that was in second year.
Yeah, we were in second year. Yes.
Yeah, so we became friends. And now it was clear that he really wants to be more than friends. He wants us to go into a relationship. And since he was like a really good friend of mine, we just started is it dating or just building on our friendship? I wouldn't say dating, but building on our friendship. We had boundaries, we set boundaries, yeah. We had lots of mentorship, which I really appreciate, because I think those are the notes that we usually go back to. Yeah. To date, we had like a couple of friends who were dating at the time from that fellowship. Most of them are married. Kina Vicky,
all of them are
yeah,
married.
actually all of them. I can actually mention them by name. There's Grace Nzinzi and Caleb Karichu. There's Caleb Ragichu and Grace Nanji. There's so many. We have like a WhatsApp group even now. We call it Love Stamp. And we encourage each other. And yeah, that's where we even got our best couple from. They are like our best couple, mentor couple. We go to, we discuss anything, about anything. Marriage, parenting, friendships, investment. Yeah, so.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, all right. So now, sis, I will ask you to run us through your wedding. Of course, now, uliacha hiyo yote and you stopped being so focused, as we can tell. 2 kids later. Peter. Run us through your wedding. What was your wedding like? How many bridesmaids did you have? What were your colors?
Okay. Where will I start? My wedding. Our wedding was really simple. It was really simple. It was like the budget. I was the budget slasher.
Yeah.
You were actually looking at the budget and seeing what you can slash, what you can keep, what you can compromise.
Okay.
I think I wasn't a dreamy girl. I was willing to like compromise on some things, because we usually we used to encourage ourselves that the photos will remain. No one will see whether we ate chicken and pilau. They'll complain in our wedding that they didn't get to eat to the field, but they will go to my brother's wedding and they'll complain of the same. So we had a very simple meal. I got my gown somewhere in China at a very cheap price. I can't even mention it here.
Why not? Please do.
It was
It's affordable.
Yeah, it
affordable.
was very affordable, but I think it was a beautiful dress. I think it was very, very affordable. How much was it? I think 7,000. I got it at around 7,000. A friend helped me to ship it, and another friend who now owns a very big bridal culture business, Isani. She's called Isani Culture. She made some adjustments, and it really looked nice. Yeah. And going to the shop here in Nairobi, I think it was around 50 something K. So the difference of 7,000
and 50
and 50,000. Yeah. I had trouble choosing my bridesmaids because I have many friends. I have many girlfriends, very many of them. So I used, maybe, I wouldn't say it's a justifiable strategy, but at least I was able to get 10 of them.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. No, not 10, 9. 9 of them. I think I was the 10th one. 9 of them to be my bridesmaids. They are still good friends up to right now. The colors were, what is this called?
Peach and
Peach.
turquoise.
Was it turquoise or mint green? I don't know. It's some funny blue. some blue that is in the middle of blue and green, but it was not turquoise. So those are the colors. I don't know how I chose them, but we chose them. Yeah, we chose them with, yeah, and they looked really bright. At least we didn't disagree on that one.
No, that one we didn't disagree.
We didn't disagree.
What did you disagree on? So what did you disagree on? At least for the wedding bit. Maurice, tell
What
us.
did you disagree on for the wedding?
The one I remember is on the honeymoon.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So
You remember the issue about surprising? This didn't work this time.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm not the best person to surprise.
Nuh-uh.
Yes. So he wanted to surprise me with the honeymoon destination.
Okay.
But whatever he had chosen had a very bad memory, right? From campus days.
For you?
For me, with my classmates. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those long walks where you don't talk. Episode 2.
What
So
do you
eventually
mean?
we had to change.
You went for honeymoon and we're not talking.
No, like to decide where
Like
to
to
go
decide.
for our honeymoon. But we finally agreed and even got a better and cheaper option.
Yes.
Much better and cheaper option. I'm the budget slasher.
Just economist in this relationship.
But sometimes I slash that budget.
It's interesting
but
that
end up using
she can really handle the finances well.
But
but
save.
at the point where the money that has been saved will end up making very questionable purchases.
Oh no.
Yeah. But yeah, the wedding was interesting. Just seeing the family come through for us was one. The day before the wedding, I remember I got onto a matatu, went to town alone. I went, had a haircut. Ile watu ni kama you've been chiseled.
Yes.
And then,
Umekelewa ruler hapa.
and then unachukua kakiwi ama suede and then unapakwa kichwa. It was the first time, it was the first time and it was the last time. I don't get these massage things in barber shops. I just don't.
Why?
For me, it doesn't work.
Okay.
It was so uncomfortable. Unasikia umefinywa huku. In your mind, you're like, please stop, please stop. And then they have this massaging machine that looks like a dolphin. And then they put it behind your back to, in a sense, make you relax.
Yeah.
I was in pain the whole time.
What?
I felt as if the machine was shocking me because it's connected to power. So it was just an uncomfortable experience for me. I'd rather go to the guy who usually does my haircut and will not, you know, he'll do a good job. Nothing too fancy, but he gets the job done, right? So after that, I had I had supper all alone, and then I just went back.
And that was your pre-wedding day?
Yes. I just wanted, because I think there was a lot of pressure in a sense on that particular day. So I just wanted to be alone for some time. So I just went, had supper, my favorite, I think, stir-fried chicken at a favorite restaurant somewhere. And then I just went back. Yeah, then in preparation for the following day. Yes.
Which was a success.
Which went well. I think in our opinion is we said, you know, for the wedding, it's not, we are not there to make people happy as much, we are inviting them to celebrate. So whether they get food, it's an advantage to, it's to their advantage. Okay, we are extending that to them. So whether food comes or not, I think for us is the day will end where if the day ends as us both being husband and wife, it's a success.
That's our goal.
Whether people get cake or not, that's just an issue. It got to a point because you know, there's a lot of pressure in pulling off, let me say, a grand wedding. You need to get the right tents. You need to get the right seats. At that time, the Shivali seats.
Is it Chiavari?
Yeah, one seat is what, 4,000?
No. Is it Chiavari?
How much?
Yeah, those nice seats.
Those nice.
Is it 250 or 450?
450 a
one
chair.
Seat, and it's not even draped. So you'll have to add the drape on top. That time ndio zilikuwa zimeanza kukua on fashion. But now this kind of plastic seat was only 10 bob. And
a draping, it's 20 shillings, I think.
If you add a draping, or the seat was 5, and if you add a draping, was coming to 15 bob. But it was super cheap as compared to the others. So we were thinking, if you come and sit down on the whatever seat, and you sit down on the plastic chair, the satisfaction is the same. You'll have sat down.
The same food they're eating will still go down to
we'll
the
still
stomach.
go down.
It's not because I sat on that 450 seat, my food will dance on its way down to the stomach. No. Eventually food will be digested. So we focused more on the photography because that's what we'll get at the end in terms of memories. The video, let me say...
Not so much, but we got a really good photographer. What's his name? He does a really good job.
It's all right.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes. But I would recommend that guy any day.
Any day. Because he did a really amazing job. So we didn't compromise on the photographer because there's someone who advised us. Actually, the person who recommended them to us, Juliet, she told us that you'd rather get a very good photographer because he can work with anything. You can be in a bush, but whatever shoot or angles they take, the photo will look so good, people won't even mind about the bush behind you. So that's the advice we took, and they really did.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Okay. At this point, we're going to take a very short break for the sake of time, allow you to take a breather. And when we come back, my viewers, we're going to have Cec and Maurice walk us through life after this wedding. Please stay tuned. This is the Marriage Corner with Vionah. Welcome back. This is still the Marriage Corner with Vionah Githinji, and we are back with Cec and Mrs Mucheru as they take us through their love journey after their wedding. So, karibuni, welcome back once again. And we pick up after the wedding that Cec did a good job slashing budgets for. So, marriage starts, or life now officially together starts. What was the first year like for you Cess, what was it like? Was it hard to accommodate each other, or was it easy after 6 years of dating? What was the first year like for you?
I don't know if my memory will serve me correct, but I think the first year was easier. Because when I compare whatever we are struggling with right now, it's like the problems are unique in a way. So if I look at the problems we used to have in our first year in marriage, they are not problems at all.
Just touch on that. Kidogo, let's hear. What was it about?
So when we got married, the first few months, or the first month, I didn't have a job. I had just quit, then we got married. Then now the wedding is over. I need to do something with myself. I can't only be going to school in the evening and during the day I'm not doing anything. So, and I think when I'm idle, sometimes I see as though I'm in quote unquote wasting my ability of my life. I'm not like using my skills. It bothers me a lot.
Okay.
So I started like a fruits business. I would wake up very early in the morning, make some fruit salad, pack them, and then my husband would go with some of them to their office. There were many of them. So he would sell them for me.
Okay.
And then would take some deliveries, maybe in town or Westlands. So yeah, when the sales don't, when you don't achieve the sales, we would eat those fruits.
Nothing goes to waste.
No.
So when I think of that as a challenge, because I think that is what really stands out as a big challenge in that first year. It's not, right now I wouldn't say it's a challenge. We had a fair share of our challenges back in 2016, 2018. 2016, my sister lost her husband and she had 3 children and she didn't have a job, so I had to come in as the only sibling who was working to we see how things are going to work from there. So it was really tough on our marriage. Then in 2018, I got pregnant with the second baby when the first baby was barely 6 months. So here we have a toddler and I'm pregnant, and the first pregnancy was a CS. So I don't know if I had fully healed. So that was a really, really challenging year for us.
Okay.
But we thank God, we never lacked any food. Let me say he granted us peace of mind despite those many, and our babies are in school now. So I would say those are the years that have really shaken our marriage. I wouldn't say there are other true disagreements here and there, but those are the major things that I would say would have made or make or break
the marriage. Allow me to ask you, Cess, when you talk about the 6-month difference between baby 1 and the pregnancy, of course you're a Christian, so no terminations there.
Yeah.
But I've had stories where people think, I would rather terminate. For you, what was stressing you out? What was the thing for you?
Let me see. We had gone to the hospital. I actually thought I was sick with something like typhoid or something. So we went to Westlands, to the hospital, and we had some tests done, and the doctor said, "Oh, you're pregnant, and we need to do a scan." I was like, "No, I can't be pregnant. I can't. I have a 6 months." He was actually 5 or 6.
6
6 months. He just turned 6 months.
I can't be 8 weeks pregnant. What are you talking about? And then, so he said we need to do a scan to check your wound to see if you've actually healed.
Yeah.
So we went and did the scan. It was actually a Mhindi doctor. And then he said, I think we see a fibroid in your uterus, but we will tell with time whether it hinders the baby or not.
Okay.
But now this is like a high risk pregnancy because we are not sure if we have really like healed. So after that news, same thing, ile kutembea bila kuongeleshana. We drove from Westlands to Kikuyu without saying a word.
Really?
So right now, things are going through our minds, my mind too. I've been told I have fibroids. I don't know what that means, but I know fibroids are not a good thing. I'm pregnant. Okay. I have a 6-month-old baby. So what does all this mean? You know, that time you were really trying to process a lot of things. You have a mixture of emotions. You don't know whether to be happy, to be sad. So yeah, we walked. We arrived in Kikuyu and I told More, we can't go back to the house. I don't have the energy. Let's just go sit somewhere. We went to some restaurant, we went to Crave.
Yeah.
We went to Crave Kitchen. We had, I think, some tea. Still, I think, sighing and breathing. And actually, like, talking to each other, how we felt at the moment. Hiyo time nilikuwa nasikia, like, to pack my bags, you know, we pack everything in the house to have tuende mbali. Now we are wondering hata tunahama tunaenda wapi. You know, there are those things that you say, I want to do this and this. Maybe it's going to make my life easier. But now you resolve and you start saying, sasa hata tukienda naenda wapi. So, yeah, so we took that tea, we prayed. Then I think we talked to our best couple. And then they really encouraged us. And they told us, you guys, you should actually be happy. You know, it's only God that makes conception happen. You know, there are many people who have tried to have babies. They have really tried. And here you are. It's not that you've had it, you've had your pregnancy out of wedlock or illegally. It's not out of rape or something. You know, you can just think of the worst. So they were really an encouragement to us. We prayed and we went back to the house and life continued. So the next scan, when we went, we found out that it was a baby girl. I think we were even better. So now we have a boy and a girl. It's okay. We'll raise them as twins. So, yeah.
All right.
And they actually look like twins right now.
The difference is not that visible.
No, it's not very visible.
Maurice,
Yes.
where was your mind when you got the news? 1, it's 6 months. 2, a fibroid. 3, sijui scar. Of course, no, wewe huelewi the biological bit, but your mind, psychologically, how are you?
I think one, I'm thinking about my wife. She's still recovering from a CS. You know, anything that can go wrong can go wrong.
Yeah.
So already your mind is thrown into the extreme, the extremely negative part of this whole narrative. On the same time, you're still thinking about the provision aspect.
Yeah.
There's another mouth coming. Not just a baby, but a mouth with a stomach that needs to be fed and needs to be provided with 1, 2, 3 things.
Yeah.
Already, we at that point, I think we were struggling financially. So we are at a point where we're thinking, you know, what do we do? And I think at that point is, let me say, even in that situation, the Lord brings to your attention the condition of your heart, in the sense that He gives you, but in a sense, it's like you want things on your own terms, not on not the way he would desire to give you. So you end up struggling and fighting with, let me say, with the desire that God has, because there's a way that we have planned our lives. You know, we get one child, you know, we wait, and you know, the Kenyan dream, you know, until things. You've built your own house, you have a car, you've built your own apartment somewhere so that you're a landlord somewhere. You know, all these factors, unfortunately, come into play. So I think being brought to the reality of, you know, how our hearts are, you know, plan things that, you know, are not really glorifying to God. It cut deep, let me say that, and as we continued with the clinics, with the visits to the gyna, with the scans, I think there's one photo we have of one of the scans where we clearly see the face of the baby, and you know, that just, you know, it blows you away. For some reason, it just changes. It just changes your heart. So, and by God's grace, He allowed us to go through that period so that we see. You know, it's not us who determine when or where to have the baby. He's the one who gives. And the same way He gives is the same way He can even take away. So we rejoice for the time that we have with these children. We grow with them. I look at Amy, the girl, and I am the way we relate. You know, there's a time, of course, we do have our challenges with her, yes, but there's a way that you can tell she has warmed up to us, as you know, she has really connected with us as the parents, and even her affections, even how she shows us her affections to us. You think about the thoughts you had then, and you're like, God, please forgive me, because I was selfish. I was only thinking about me and not thinking about what you desire for this child. So nisamehe. Yeah, so it was hard then, but now looking back, it's just a blessing, even to see both of them playing together and learning from each other. It's truly a blessing.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, with that in mind, allow me to ask, what place or position do the kids have in this marriage, okay, in the family? There are families where once the babies come, hey, Mr. and then now it's me and my babies and then my husband. You know, it happens sometimes. But now with, let's call them twins for today, with the twins, how has it been? Has his role changed, his place, his position in your life changed? Do these kids sometimes bring a rift between you guys? Tell me about after the kids. Maurice?
I think if anything, the upbringing of these children is, we look at it more as a, let me say, teamwork. So that it's not, you know, because she's the lady, she's supposed to take care of the kids, clean up their diapers, for example, wash them. If anything, something that we really picked up from, let me say, our best couple in the interactions that we had, is the joy of just bonding with your children. Something as simple as taking a bath, as just cleaning them up. When they have their bath, be the one doing that. And I think, you know, when she was nursing the kids, she bonded with them at that time. But what about me as the dad? And something that I really enjoyed and I really looked forward to was making sure, cleaning them up, taking them through the cleaning session, let me call it that, washing them, cleaning them, dressing them up. It's still fun. It's still something that I enjoy to date when I get the opportunity, and being involved in their lives, even at those very, let me call them, in the mundane, in those mundane periods where people may not think, this really doesn't contribute to anything, but to be involved even in those times has really helped. And I have, it has also, you do this knowing that you're also giving the other person time to rest, so that you're not just, you're not placing all the work on her, but you're doing it together. So it has, in a sense, given me an appreciation of who my wife is, because the work that she does, she goes to work. She will still come and take care of the kids. You know, where am I? Am I just that guy who comes home, puts his feet up on the table and says, chakula iko wapi? How can I actively help? Because I'm not doing her a favor. It's my job as well. So why not, you know, put my hands and my feet in? And I also say this because I would also want my son, when he grows up, to know that spending time with his kids, if the Lord allows him to get to that point, it is one of the greatest joys. As much as sometimes you may be very tired, and you know, when you enter the door, they all, you know, jump on you, and before you put your bag down, it is better to have that than to have the opposite, where you enter and everyone leaves the room because they all want to sit with you. It also has given us an opportunity to just, you know, when, you know, we're thinking about the kids together, we're thinking about their future together. We're willing to do projects that will affect these children together. So in a sense, you're thinking about these children together, but over and above that, you're also thinking about each other more, because you're looking at when these kids go, you know, where would, you know, how, if these kids were to, let's say, for instance, go to boarding school, you know, how do you spend your days together? So that, so still try to get some of those, you know, time out together. You know, you've been parenting, you've been disciplining these kids, you've been doing all these things. Just have at least a random, let me call it random dates, where you just pick up your bag or just something and just go, have tea, have a snack, talk, look at life together, look at things, you know, from that point, not as mom and dad, but as just husband and wife, so that at least you know, that part is not being left behind. I'll admit it is a bit of a challenge sometimes, owing sometimes to the nature of work and just the busyness of life. But it's something I have to say categorically that it is something you have to fight for. It doesn't come easy. It might appear sometimes as if it's, you know, a baggage. When there's, you know, when there's a celebration, Valentine's, you know, those holidays, you really need to be intentional. Otherwise, it will just be something else you need to do so that it appears as if something is being done. So it has to be intentional. It has to be fought for. I think that's what I can say.
Sense. Who's the disciplinarian?
He is.
How does that work for you, mommy?
Yeah, so that actually has formed part of what we currently or recently disagree on. Sometimes I'm not very comfortable with his mode of discipline, because it's discipline by the rod, especially for the girl. For the boy, I'm okay, but now for the girl, she's when she knows that she's done something wrong and you tell her it's time for we need to discipline you and let's go to the bedroom and you'll have your 3 strokes because of doing 1 and 2, 3 things. Immediately she knows that she's about to be disciplined. She really screams, she cries a lot. So I think that she manages to manipulate me or something. So yeah, we actually don't.
It's still work in progress. Yeah, let me say that.
It's actually work in progress.
It's clear she's not comfortable with daddy spanking the girl.
The girl, yeah. Because imagine, let's get to I'm sorry. No, I want to intervene, but I don't want to interrupt the process.
Yeah.
So sometimes when the kids leave, we are left there discussing, and it doesn't really end up well with us, both of us. So I'm here thinking that it's not right. I don't think it's right for you to be this hard on her.
And just to make it clear, it's not corporal punishment.
She doesn't dig pits or you don't retaliate.
I
No.
don't.
Well,
I think we try not to use our hands.
Yeah.
Hands are supposed to, in a sense, when the child sees your hands, they should feel, they're objects that, in a sense, should comfort her, express, especially for the girls.
Yes.
And this is something I have, let me say, I just been able to observe. For the boys, it's discipline.
we are done.
We are done, and life moves on.
On to the next thing.
Yes, but for the girl, as much as yes, I do spank, something I always try to do before the spank, there has to be a discussion of why am I doing this.
She's 3 years old.
She's 3 years and she understands.
She comprehends.
She comprehends.
She comprehends because when you start that discussion, she starts the wailing.
In fact, she starts saying sorry because she knows what she has done.
I'm sorry.
But also, she needs to understand there's a consequence that follows that, so that she does not, because you see, something I noted, the first time she would say sorry, fine, okay. Second time, sorry, fine. So it's like she started to understand, whatever I do, as long as I say sorry, I can escape the road. You see? So now you need to bring her to a point where it's not just a question of saying sorry and things move on, because you can eventually tell that the apology is not genuine. It's because I've been caught. So you need to then, in a sense, first of all, bring them to the idea that, first of all, God is not happy because of what you have done.
Okay.
Because and you first of all point her to the fact that the disobedience is first of all towards who? Towards God. And He sees us all the time, so that whether daddy knows or doesn't know, God will know whether you have obeyed or disobeyed. So in a sense, you're trying to put off the fact that she can only obey when mommy and daddy are around. When we are not around, she can easily go away and do her things. So trying to, in a sense, build up the idea of God, that God is ever present. He's all knowing. And whether we are here or not, He still sees her. And before God punishes you or disciplines you, I would rather do the discipline first, because His is even worse. So bringing her to that point so that she can understand that. And by the time we finish that, then, and this is the point I was making, with the girl, it's different, because you need to, I also comfort her to show that as much as there has been that session that we've just completed,
okay,
you give her a hug, I love you, but we shall not tolerate what? We shall not tolerate this disobedience. So that she, in a sense, the idea is she still understands we do not discipline her out of hate, but out of love.
yeah.
But as much as we love her, there are things that we cannot tolerate. So it's a bit hard sometimes. I know there's a time I was disciplining the JJ, our son, and even before I had started, when I was about to start, he cried, "I am so sorry, Daddy." That broke my heart.
Oh.
That broke my heart. And I just put the belt down, and then we just talked.
Okay.
And after that discussion, things were, I think, things were better. Yeah. So there are those dynamics, and I think I'm still learning, to be honest. With girls, it's just a whole different thing altogether. You can't discipline like the boy and then move on.
Yeah.
There's an emotional part that
needs to be catered to.
Yeah, and that's why she comes in, because she really helps with, let me say, helping me to not go to the very much to the extreme, because sometimes I think, if not, let me say, kept in place. You know, you can get to a point where you're frustrated and you would want to administer.
You don't want to discipline out of your own
anger.
frustrations or out of your own anger.
Yeah.
You need to be sober-minded.
Yes.
And that's a tricky.
And that's
Yeah,
tricky.
it's a tricky
one.
situation.
It's a tricky one. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
emotional beings at the end of the day.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pole mami, it has to be done. At least someone is doing it. I'm just worried if you are the only one in this picture, those kids might be very spoiled.
No, I don't know. I'm the only one allowed to spank.
Oh, really? Do you spank?
Yes, I do.
With the belt?
Yeah, with the same belt. It's the same thing we use. They know this is the discipline.
Tool,
Hii ni discipline ya dadi na mami. As in they call it discipline. And it's stored in our bedroom. So if they know that we are walking into our bedroom, you have done something that really warrants.
You're bringing something that used to happen them days. Ungesikia umeitwa bedroom ya mzazi.
Yes.
Today is that day, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So actually we do it in our bedroom because it's the most private, secure place. So that in case they've done something wrong in front of their friends, maybe outside or in the sitting room, we can like discipline them respecting their own privacy. For maybe their self-esteem purposes.
Okay.
Yeah. Ndio mtoi asitoke huko nje sasa haha niliona ukichapwa na. Yeah, you know kids, how kids can be, so yeah.
That's interesting. That's a very interesting point, the self-esteem bit.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that will be my take home from this discussion on discipline. That's a good one. Thank you for reminding me that. As we near the end, you can only imagine time is up. Huh? As we near the end, I know you guys are career people. And like you've said, sometimes you come home and you're super exhausted. And you just, all you want to do anyway in life is sleep after a hard day's work. And Maurice accepted. Sometimes you take her out, random dates and stuff. But is there something from your heart that you'd like to tell this girl? Today, something from your heart. Maybe you've wanted to get a moment or you wanted to get the words. Now here it is on camera. Actually, I'm
I was not hoping it would be on camera. Wow.
She's reading the moment. Anyway.
Wow. I wish I had known this earlier. So I had.
It can't be better than this. It will
Clearly,
be authentic.
Clearly. I think one is to appreciate the work that she does, one. Appreciate the love that she gives me. Yes, I appreciate the love that you give me as a husband, as a family, and the way you care for us, and the willingness to walk the journey each and every day. It's not easy. We have had our fair share of ups and downs, but all in all, the fact that I choose to love you every day is not just something out of emotions, but I choose to be with you each and every day because that is where my heart is, and that is the desire I have. All the days the Lord will give us together, I pray that the Lord will keep us together and walk through the journey as we see our children grow, as we see investments grow, as we see whatever plans that we may have. It is most interesting to do it with you, day by day. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Maurice, for that moment. I don't know. I just felt like it was a thing you could do.
Those random things that you...
Yeah. And thank you for that. Would you like to say something?
To him?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Thank you for really pointing me to what love really is. Not about a feeling, but about service. I have seen that in you.
he really invests in my rest and making me better, helping me out with the children, even when I'm so tired. Sometimes when I come late from Narok, I find that everything is in place. Dinner is served, or a surprise under my pillow. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I can want to imagine a different life. As simple as ours is, I pray that God may allow us to work on it, for it to be better, for others to see what marriage really is, what He really intended it to be. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yay. Awesome. Amen to that.
Hallelujah.
Amen to that. And I'll ask Maurice as we end this show to kindly speak to men out here with everything that's happening right now to marriages. It's like never before. Marriages are under attack. I would say that from life and observations. Yeah. What do you have to say to men, younger and older even than you? What is that one word of advice that you'd give them to make their marriages work like yours is working? Please do that as you address that camera.
I think one thing I would say is find your footing and your foundation in Christ. Anything else outside of that, He will definitely lead you into the wrong place. Proverbs talks about the wise woman and the foolish woman, and the author here really insists as young men what we need to follow or where we need to be. Unfortunately, we live in a very loud world where it demands that we either cheat on our wives, we either find alternatives to our wives. My prayer and my request to you is, first of all, find your satisfaction in Christ, because from Him comes the spring of life where you'll be able to pursue Him first and foremost. He becomes your one and only object of desire. And with that, then sharing that with your wife becomes, in a sense, easier, because you have a responsibility to your wife, you have a responsibility to God over the life that He has given you to care for. And it becomes something that will continuously fuel your desire to love your wife, to care for your wife, to be faithful to your wife, and not what the world has given as solutions, as options, which eventually will lead to death. It might not be physical death, but the death of a marriage, maybe the death of that relationship. So walk together with other men as well. Don't rely on your own strength and wisdom. And have people you can talk to. Hii mambo ya kuvunjika ndani kama kibuyu, it's something I wouldn't advocate. Find people, find friends, find brothers you can walk with, who you can be open about the challenges you're having. In the event that even the marriage has problems, feel free to talk to someone. There's no shame in finding help, because at the end of the day, the marriage, I like something that Paul Tripp says in his book, What to Expect. As much as you may want a perfect and wonderful marriage, the sinfulness of the world, unfortunately, at one time or another, will find its way into your life, will find its way into the marriage. But we still ask for God's grace to overcome these challenges and move forward, all for His glory.
Amen. All right. Says a word to the ladies on making their marriages work, or what has helped yours to work. That's your camera.
Yeah. I really don't want to dilute what Maurice has said, because it applies to both parties. But for us ladies, to just remember that a soft answer turns away wrath. Yeah, so how we respond to different situations really dictates the path that our marriages are going to head. So it's for us to pray for wisdom and also seek counsel from elder women, because elder women, especially in our churches or in our local settings, are supposed to encourage us and to lead us as younger women on how to mold our homes. Let's not see as though that is not wisdom from the Bible. Whoever wrote that verse. So the wisdom of people being mentored, people seeking for godly counsel, for godly wisdom. So let's not think that we can build our houses on our own. We need help. So where it doesn't work, it's not about trying to survive, but we try to look for solutions when we see the problem as early as now. Yeah, so I think for our ladies, that's what I would actually say.
All right. Thank you, Cess. And a big thank you to you guys for sparing your time, your energy to come talk about yourselves, your marriages, bring it out. And I appreciate what you're saying when it comes to bringing up those babies. At the end of the day, these small humans are going to leave us. And what's left is just the two of you. So if this ain't working, my friends, even the future is kind of dull. Yeah? So thank you for that reminder. I'm really grateful that you found the time to come and talk to me. Asante sana. And to you, our viewers, that is the end of episode 10 of the Marriage Corner show with Vionah. And I'm really grateful that you took the time to watch all the way to this part. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And it's a kind reminder, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we are Jicho TV Kenya. Kindly subscribe. And do leave me a comment. Tell us what you loved about the show, what you didn't love. And if you have a couple that you can recommend to us, here's your chance. Leave their number up or comment. We will see you. We appreciate you. And until next week, kwaheri.